So this is a video about how the predator puppet masters, the elites, the empire that controls the theater of the world are essentially and quite fundamentally narcissistic in their traits. So it's interesting, as a person who's been through many relationships of narcissistic injury in my life, when I look at the way the empire operates, I'm like, well, that's narcissism, okay? And the first thing we need to learn about a narcissist in a one-on-one dynamic, which we need to now apply to the global dynamic of the empire, the narcissistic empire that is manipulating us on a collective level, right? So the same rules apply. If I'm in a one-on-one relationship with a narcissistic person and I'm going through narcissistic injury, there are certain things I need to do to stop giving them their narcissistic supply, right? Now, if the empire is narcissistic in their traits, just like a singular person might be, then we need to now apply the same tactic as we would to a singular narcissistic person as we do now to the empire all around us, right? The empire that's controlling its matrix, its system. And it's allowed to. It created that reality. It owns that reality. It's the legal entity of that reality. And it's the puppet master of that reality. So if we choose to be inside that reality, then we are confirming and consenting and choosing that we want to be in a narcissistic relationship. So when I was in many years of therapy because of narcissistic injury and abuse, I was in a relationship with a narcissist. And every time I would go to my therapist and be like, they are doing this and this and this is insane. Like, for example, Netanyahu's speech in Congress, right? There he is standing up there, blatantly lying about actual reality. So what he did was just gaslighting. That's what gaslighting is. We all watched thousands of people getting genocided in Palestine, and he went up there and not only denied that thousands of people had died, but actually told the opposite. He said that Israel is exempt in its war efforts, and this is like, you know, one of the greatest wars in history where hardly any civilians were hurt or murdered. Right? So he actually not only denied the truth, but he told the opposite lie, okay? So he gaslit. That is a narcissistic tactic. He gaslit reality. We all know that this is reality, and there's this person that's like, that represents the predator empire, the narcissistic empire, because it's narcissistic in its soul. It doesn't have empathy, right? The empire has no empathy, and it operates like a narcissist. So it gaslit us there, right? No, that's not true. We all know what happened, right? So he's trying to manipulate the reality. He's telling us that our reality is not real. Now, if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist or been brought up by a narcissistic parent, you'll know that they undermine and deny your reality. And they make it look like they did nothing wrong. And in fact, not only did they do nothing wrong, but they have been exempt in their behavior, right? That's how kind of manipulative their brains are, okay? So now when I would go to therapy and my therapist, I would say, this has happened. I've been gaslit, this scenario. My therapist would say, it's horrible that happened. Why are you in the room, Genevieve? And I'd be like, because they did this and this and this and this and this. And then she would bring me back and say, why are you in the room? Why are you there? What is it in you that makes you stay in the room with a personality that is undermining you and gaslighting you in that manner? Why are you in the room, in this play, right? Because this is life. Here she is, beautiful. Isn't she just beautiful? Look at her. And we co-create reality. So when we become more sovereign in ourselves, we step out of relationships where we are being gaslit, right? So the more sovereign and whole I became in my wellness, the more I was like, oh, I'm not going to be in this room. I'm no longer going to be on this stage as a stage partner to a person who's writing a play that I want no part of, and the play never changes. I keep staying on the stage going, stop, please stop, why won't you hear me? No, that's not true, this is what actually happened. Can we just find resolution? Can this just get better? Can this just be restored? And the person will twist the words and manipulate the situation till the end of time, because the narcissist doesn't have empathy and they are unable to change. Okay? So the person who does have empathy and is able to change needs to realize, I cannot be in this room and in this dynamic anymore. That's what I can do for myself. I can't force that person to change. They won't change. That's the great realization. I have to leave the space and make a life for myself outside of narcissistic connections. And then the great healing comes in terms of, well, why have I picked narcissistic connections? Why do I allow myself to be extracted to such a manner? Now, the same thing applies to the collective empire story. What we see playing out in the world on TV, now the death of Palestinians is real. That is actually occurring, right? Okay, so I'm not undermining that that is a real genocide that needs to be addressed. But I'm saying the way it's handled by American politics and the sides and the various facets and the cabal, and they say this in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. If you haven't read that book, it's a very short book. I think it was a bestseller in Japan for some time. But it's literally how this predatory entity operates. And one of their protocols, I'll probably put it in a post after this because I'm going to paraphrase it here, is that if the people need an anarchist, we will be inside that system of anarchy. If they need liberalism, we will give them that liberalism. If they want conservatism, we will be that too. So they implant themselves in all facets and they control all facets, right? This is why you see like the stage is Democrat and Republican, the American stage. It's a theater show, right? It's a film. It's a live film. It's a Truman show. It's an ongoing show. And the military-industrial complex and all their great minds that work up there to manipulate, socially engineer life. There's geniuses up there that socially engineer humans in huge collective masses. It's like a board game of Risk, and they are engineering. They are engineering the way humans will feel, think, and operate. They are corralling us. That's why they call us goyim, cattle, because they corral us with their brilliant minds, to be quite honest. They are amazing strategists, okay? So they are sitting up there, and they are corralling us. So, people that are like, Trump will be the savior. Well, Trump kissed the wall of Israel. Biden's the savior. Biden kisses the wall of Israel. RFK is the savior. RFK kisses the wall of Israel. So Bernie Sanders will be the savior. Well, he kisses Israel too. So even though they have different inflections in their sort of political values and ideologies, they all bow at the feet of the Zionist cabal, the elitist military-industrial complex, right? And this complex also owns the media, and that's why all these people stood up there applauding Netanyahu, because they don't know any better. They're inside the theater show. They're in the Truman Show. They haven't seen all the information we've seen. They haven't made the time or effort, just like with COVID, right? A lot of people didn't see the information we saw because that was being censored. So they're inside the programming. They are inside a sim game, literally. It's like a sim game. People that believe what legacy media is saying and what these politicians are saying have agreed to live inside a simulation. And what's important to note here as well is that in Gnosticism, they say that the demiurge, and John Nam Lash writes about this in his book, Not in His Image, that the demiurge and the archons are like a hive mind, a parasitic sort of AI, a tech intelligence. And they don't have the living bio-heart mechanism in themselves. They don't have the living spark of life in them, the divine life of Sophia, the great wisdom. So they try to mimic it, and all they can make is a simulation. They try to mimic life, and they simulate it. And that's why the colonizing entity that runs this world, I like to call them, I'm going to coin the term Narcon, because the archon is a parasitic, sort of unfeeling hive mind, and it's unempathetic, it's not human. And the narcissist is essentially, it's lost empathy because of, well, pretty much because of being abandoned by the mother specifically. The narcissist did not have emotional connection and proper love from the mother from the age 0 to 4. And that is what has created this disorder in them. Okay, so it's interesting that the Gnostic scriptures that tell us about the source of evil, they talk about the demiurge and the archons, the rulers and the authorities of the world, the politicians, the governments, these systems. And these systems are narcissistic. They are narcons. They have no empathy, right? They don't care about what's right. They don't have humanity. They don't care. They will just feign care when they need to. And this is what brings me to Kamala's speech, right? People talk, when I see people be like, oh, Kamala said this, and maybe, she's going to pull through for us, because she's saying that the war in Gaza has been terrible and a ceasefire needs to happen. Okay. Kamala's reading a prompter and a script, and people that think Kamala stands in her own right, or Trump stands in his own right, or Biden stands in his own right, have misunderstood the nature of this game and the theater show. You only get to stand on the stage and be a puppet if they control you, right? So just like the narcissist will break you emotionally to the point where you literally crumble internally. And when you're on your knees and then you're like, screw this, I'm leaving this, I'm out of here, I'm going. As soon as you're out the door, the narcissist will be like, you're right about me. I don't know why I act like this. This has been horrible. This is. They start telling you everything you need to hear. You're right. I'm going to be a better person. I hear what you're saying. They finally tell you they hear what you're saying, right? That's what the narcissist will do just as you're about to take power and leave the dynamic, get off the stage. They tell you what it is you've been wanting to hear for however long, right? Just when you're about to take your power back. So Kamala is acting in that regard. The system has now seen that they cannot push this any further. They've had Biden there as somebody with dementia, and he just follows a script, and Kamala follows a script. Don't think for a second that she's some kind of empowered woman she's here to clean up the show. No, that's the character traits they're giving her. People need a hero now. It's really going to work if it's a woman. It's a black woman. And she's going to say all the things we've needed to hear. After 9 months of blowing up humans and babies, we're about to lose the voting base. We're about to lose people. We take them right to the edge. We edge them as they're about to be like, this is it. I'm out of the system. I'm off the stage. We give them the hero. They give you the hero that you need. So Kamala standing there saying some things we needed to hear, but literally not admitting to most of it, which is like 76 years of colonization, the Nakba, the frickin' military rule, the whole thing about Palestine, right? She just says enough, like the narcissist. Oh, I hear you, you're right, I'm not emotionally present, and I do this, and I do deny your reality. I'm going to fix that. We need to fix this. And then the codependent is like, okay, yay, finally. I've been wanting you to hear me for so long. I guess I'll stay. So people who are like eating up the Kamala story, fine, do it. You're basically just playing into the theater show. If any politician out there makes you feel like, okay, well, I guess Trump will do it for us. I guess it'll be RFK. I guess Kamala's going to clean up the act. No. None of these guys or women have vocally denounced the Zionist lobby that has occupied America. So America is under occupation, okay? There's a Zionist hand inside the ass of America moving the mouth of America. America's a puppet. It's a puppet that's been occupied. So, yeah, that's all I'm here to say, is that what we're witnessing is, Netanyahu was gaslighting, Kamala is hoovering, when the narcissist comes around and hoovers and says everything you need to hear to keep you in the relationship. And there is no hero out there. This is all a political Truman show. And allowing our emotions to get swept up into every single story that they throw at us is narcissistic supply. So in narcissistic one-on-one relationships, they like to keep you in an emotionally unstable place, never knowing if you're going to be safe, if this is going to end, and that's their narcissistic supply. So ultimately, we need to cut off the supply. We need to stop playing into the game, the theater show they're giving us. We need to get off their stage and make our own stage, our own world.